if. If. Do you know what this word means? If. Well, in this lesson, I want to teach you 3 more ways to say if. So, should you smash that like button, I will be happy to teach you. All right, so here we go. Here are the 3 more ways to say if. Have you ever heard these before? Should, had, and were. It's kind of a weird idea, right? Have you ever used these words to say if? So I said, should you smash the like button, I will be happy to teach you. That means if you smash the like button, I will be happy to teach you. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples with each of these words, meaning if. Okay, so look at this. Should you encounter any problems, don't hesitate to ask for help. Okay. Should you encounter any problems, don't hesitate to ask for help. It means if you encounter any problems, don't hesitate to ask for help. Look at that. Should means if, guys. Isn't that interesting? Now look at this example. Had he applied earlier, he would have gotten the job. Had he applied earlier, he would have gotten the job. That means if. If he had applied earlier, he would have gotten the job. Or we could say, if he would have applied earlier. Okay, so there are 3 ways we could say this. We could say, had he applied earlier, or we could say, if he had applied earlier, or we could say, if he would have applied earlier. And they mean the same thing. Sometimes in English, you can choose different ways to say the same thing. Okay, isn't that interesting? So look at this example. Were you to move to Germany, your life would take a turn for the worst. This is a joke, guys. I just made up this joke. Were you to move to Germany, okay, that means if you move to Germany, you know, your life would take a turn for the worst. Now, why is this funny? So in English, we have a phrase, to take a turn for the worst. Okay, that means to go bad, to go in a bad direction. Right? So this means if you move to Germany, your life is going to get bad, a lot worse than it is, right? It's going to take a turn for the worst. So, in English, we have the word bad, right? Bad, worse, worst. Okay? Except in English, it's spelled W-O-R-S-T. Worst. In English, if you want to know about this stuff, you can just go on Google and search for comparative and superlative exercises. Because, words like bad and good and other adjectives, if you're comparing 2 things, that's the comparative form of the word. But if there's another higher one, which is the superlative, which means it's better than all of them. So if you're comparing more than 2 things, then you need to use the superlative, word. So for example, if you're comparing 2 phones, I only have 1 phone here, guys. But imagine if you had 2 phones, okay? Then you would say, which phone is better? Okay, you wouldn't say which phone is best. You'd say which phone is better because you only have 2. But imagine if you have 3 or 4. Then you would say which phone is best. You wouldn't say which phone is better. Better is only used for comparing 2, right? So it's the same with the word bad. The comparative is the word worse, and then the superlative is worst with a T. Well, in German, this word means sausage, right? And in Germany, they like to eat a lot of sausages. You know, if you go to Germany, you're going to see bratwurst. You know, you buy some bratwurst and French fries. The thing is that in their, in the German language, the W is pronounced like V, like in the letter V. Okay. And one thing that I thought was crazy in Germany, you know, the car brand VW? Okay. Volkswagen, right? Most people say VW. They don't actually say, well, I don't know. A lot of people do say Volkswagen, but a lot of people say VW. Guess what they say in Germany? They don't say VW. They say VW. VW. So anytime I heard people in Germany talking about VW, that's like, guys, this is your own car company, right? I think is it German? VW. Yeah, VWs are made in Germany, right? Volks. That's a German word, folk. In English, we say Volkswagen because it has a V. Volkswagen. We say VW. But they pronounce the letters VW, VW. Don't ask me why, guys. Doesn't make any sense. So the word worst means sausage, but they would pronounce it Wurst. Okay, Bratwurst. Bratwurst essen ist meine Lieblingsfreizeitbeschäftigung. You know what that means? Bratwurst essen ist meine Lieblingsfreizeitbeschäftigung. It means eating bratwurst is my favorite free time activity. So in German, one kind of the cool thing about German is that they have these massive words. Like if you've ever tried to do German reading, you see these massive words. And the reason they have such big words is because they take a lot of words and they just pile them together to make one massive word. So in English, we would say 3 words, like favorite free time activity. Okay? So eating bratwurst is my favorite free time activity. In English, we would have 3 words. But in German, they just make one word. Lieblingsfreizeitbeschäftigung. That's crazy. It's intimidating. That's why reading German is one of the most intimidating experiences you could ever have in your life. You're reading your normal thing, right? Bratwurst essen ist meine. And you just kind of go crazy. Like, what? How do I say this word? You just want to give up. Where do I even start? It's interesting. It's a very interesting language. Massive words. So I made up this joke, guys. Should you find this joke funny, then smash that like button. Okay? So I said should, meaning if. Okay? So were you to move to Germany, that means if you would move to Germany, right, your life would take a turn for the worst. You would eat a lot of sausages, right? Your life probably wouldn't get bad really, but it would involve eating a lot of sausages. Okay, so I hope you like my joke. So the point of this video is not to teach you how to speak like this, because in normal English we use the word if. We don't use these ways to say if. Okay, so when you're speaking English, you should use the word if. Okay, but the point of this video is just to make you aware of these other ways, and these other ways are more common in writing. Okay, so if you see a sign, maybe, you know, should you need help, contact the help desk. Okay, like maybe in an airport or an office building or something, you might see a sign that says, should you need help, it means if you need help, contact the help desk or something like that, right? So I just want to make you aware of these ways that mean if. Okay, so let's take a look at one more example for each of these words. So look at this. Should he stop eating cake, he will most certainly lose weight. Okay. Should he stop eating cake? Now, if you hear this, it would sound like a question, right? Should he stop eating cake? Oh yeah, he should stop eating cake. But this isn't a question. This means if. If he stops eating cake, he will most certainly lose weight. Okay, does that make sense? Here's another example with had. Had I started investing in my 20s, I would be a millionaire today. Okay, had I started investing in my 20s. That means if you had started, or if I had, probably wouldn't be true for me, but maybe true for you. If you had started investing in your 20s, maybe you would be a millionaire today. So you could say this. Had I started investing in my 20s, I would be a millionaire today. Okay? Now, you could also say it this way with the word were. Okay, were I to have started investing in my 20s, I would be a millionaire today. I'd be a millionaire, right? Were I to have started investing, so this word means if. If I had started investing, or if I were to have started investing. Sometimes in English, there are easy ways to say things and then complicated ways to say things, unnecessarily complicated. So with these words that mean if, they're a little bit unnecessarily complicated to use in your normal speech. And when we speak normally, we just use the simplest way to say it, right? And the simplest word to use is if, okay? But it's actually quite common in English to see these words as well, especially in reading, and some people use them in speaking too. Okay, so, guys, there are ways to say things in English that you only need to be aware of. Okay? You don't need to learn how to talk like this. But you do need to be aware of it so that you know what's going on. If someone uses the word should he stop eating cake, they're not asking you a question because their sentence is continuing, right? Or if you see a sign that says, should you need help, don't get confused. It just means if. Okay, so you do need to know these other ways of saying if, but you don't need to use them yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that's helpful for you. Should you leave a comment, I will be happy. Okay? So I could say this to you. Should you leave a comment, I will be happy. Okay? That means if you leave a comment under this video, I will be happy. There it is, guys. So let's do some homework. I want you to make a sentence with should or had or were, meaning if. Super easy, guys. So I hope you're doing great. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy. I love you very much. Have a great day. And I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.